So Richard got the horn. I gotta hear it.
I did.
I gotta hear about this horn.
So we had band rehearsal
Oh,
this weekend.
this is not what I thought you were going to talk about, but okay.
Oh, sorry. No, your shipment of powdered rhino horn is on its way to you, if that's what you're after. We're not allowed to say that now that the CITES things happened. We had band rehearsal for the first time in months, and our new keyboard player. So we've gone from having no bass player to having 2 bass players.
Whoa, okay.
It's all the bass, as they say. You get all the bass.
Bases covered. Basically,
nice.
No pun intended
nice,
there.
Nice.
Our new keyboard player, who's a good friend of mine, is a multi-instrumentalist, and he's one of those guys who's just really annoyingly good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd already said, well, look, there's some saxophone solos in a couple of the songs we do. Do you want to bring a sax? And he's like, yep, absolutely. And then he was like,
Careless Whisper, bring it on. Woo!
We don't do Careless Whisper, but he did play the sax solo to it the other day. But
No? Are you more of a Baker Street guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That is also a great sax solo. Anyhow, he plays a bit of bass. So in Start by The Jam, he's just playing bass, and in Animal by Def Leppard, he's playing bass because there aren't really any keys in it or sax. And in the other songs, our singer has now learned to play bass and sing at the same time, which, let me tell you, chaps, is harder than playing guitar and singing. In some ways, because
I think it depends on the song, but I see what you're saying.
I think it's harder to sing background vocals and lead vocal at the same time, unless you use a device.
I mean, yeah, sure, Bri. Some people do have a duotone voice, though. Like, they can sing 2 notes at the same time, can't they? Yeah, that's possible.
No. Stop making things up.
It's literally possible.
You're full of feces.
Well, there is that.
Next year, tell me that some people can walk and chew gum at the same time. That's ridiculous.
Or walk and run at the same time. You know?
They can walk and run at the same time.
No, it's impossible. You do one or the other.
This is true. What is the difference between walking and running other than speed?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're running, both feet come off the ground for a little bit.
The technique
you have got
is
it correct there.
Yeah.
Right.
The technique
so
is
we're on to the fitness section immediately. Look, I got the horn and I need to tell you about it.
Gotcha. Tell us about this.
Yeah.
Tell us about this horn.
We were playing Embarrassment by Madness, and there's 2 great sax solos in it. And I'm used to playing along to like a synthesized sax solo. And like, it was okay. It did the job. But I'm playing along and I'd kind of completely forgotten that Keith was about to pull out the sax and play the solo. And he played the solo, and it was loud, but it was utterly awesome to be playing with some live brass. I've never played with a live horn player before, and it was utterly, utterly thrilling. So I did indeed get the horn. I was playing like twice as fast as a result.
I used to play in a church band, believe it or not, praise and worship band. And our pastor would use a trumpet and play every now and then. And we were playing like rocky songs, like Third Day or, stuff like that, if you know what that is. Kind of like Black Crowsy type stuff. And it was very odd to just insert a random trumpet part into like these, what you would basically think of as rock songs. So that's been my only experience playing with a horn.
I just think, what you really should do, Richard, is stop with this like 80s cover band stuff. You just got to go third wave ska, just right into it.
Look, I would love to. However, we did have a bit of a genius idea the other day after discussing the horn, which was we should consider a set of just 80s theme tunes. Like, I'm thinking Airwolf, Knight Rider, the A-Team. I would actually pay to see myself in that band.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, now we're talking.
I mean, that was the 90s, Bri.
So, late 80s.
Same thing,
early
basically.
90s. Yeah.
And you shouldn't have been watching that when that came out. You should have been more mature.
Yeah, I should have been a lot of things.
You know what?
I
theme
should have been
song-
sober at that age. Hell.
Here I am, drunk
You
on a
and me
Tuesday watching Ninja Turtles. You know what theme song absolutely slaps from that era? DuckTales.
I don't remember it.
DuckTales theme song goes hard. It's good.
All I
Harder than Muppet Babies?
Muppet Babies is not as good, but it's good.
Man, I'm just thinking of Scooby-Doo. That was the original rock soundtrack of cartoons for me.
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
I will say this with all honesty, but look up the the theme song to Jamie and the Magic Torch, because that was one hella funky track. I'm not sure it made it across to the United States
Never
of
heard that one.
America. though.
Yeah, not familiar.
Scooby-Doo was good. Hong Kong Phoo was good.
Mhm.
But come on,
Yep.
A-Team, Knight Rider, Airwolf. Do you remember the Airwolf?
I remember Airwolf.
Airwolf was brilliant.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Blake, you do not.
You were not alive.
You're like, I used to have those shoes. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
those
Nike
are-
Airwolves.
those-
Yeah.
Those are Airwalks, my friend.
Airwalks, the skate shoe.
The skate shoe. Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is the most like guitar forward theme song to a TV show ever? I have my theory, but what do you guys think?
Man, to me, it's not a TV show. It's like Back to the Future.
Miami Vice.
Maybe
Mm.
yeah.
That was pretty guitar. The Equalizer. Well, that was more synth, I guess.
I don't remember that.
Great song.
But Back to the
I'm gonna
Future
give you
was,
one.
Back to the Future was Huey Lewis. That was some good stuff. Back in the
Yeah, but
day.
that's
was
a
good.
film. If we're into films, then it's Top Gun wins hands down.
Top
Steve
Gun?
Stevens.
Yeah, that's true.
The Top Gun theme wins hands down.
But have you guys ever really listened to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song?
Yes, that does slap hard.
Fortunately, yeah.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Probably the best thing about the show.
I don't.
That and the witch.
I wasn't really into the. It was too. It sounded like a bad commercial all the time.
All right, but TMNT
No, not the show
was
itself.
fun.
We're
yeah.
talking about
The music.
song.
The music and the. Yeah.
That solo is great. What do you mean?
eh.
Oh, come on.
More chickens, less arpeggiated harmonic thingy-majiggers.
I disagree.
I entirely disagree. I'm here just for the
Yeah.
arpeggiated harmonic
I mean-
thingamajiggers.
You can.
I've done a lesson all on thingamajigging this week, in fact.
That's the next course. How to thingamajig, the beginner version.
I know.
Right. Well, we sorted that out.
Right.
So yes,
that
I
problem's
highly
fixed.
recommend playing with the horn. And I'll tell you what, you know that sort of feeling you get when you're playing music and you're like inspired to play harder? By the end, we played through 22 tracks back to back. Like I was stood at, playing throughout, so no break. And by the end of it, I'd put new strings on my fingers, new strings on my Fender, and I'd kind of put some nice fretboard oil on. By the end of the session, my fingers were black, cracked, and almost bleeding.
Black, Crack, and Almost Bleeding. That's a famous Finnish death metal album.
It does sound like a death metal album.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne's latest album. I'd forgotten how much I love being in a band. It's great. If only we could get it together and finally gig, it would be wonderful.
Sometimes just playing together is the best part, though.
It really is. We had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's just having a good time in the garage where I belong. That's a great.
A little
Weezer song, by the way.
wheezing going on
Yeah,
there.
That's
Yeah.
a great Weezer song.
That's a great album.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm not a big fan of Weezer, but
What?
fine.
Well, I mean, wait, the music or the band? Because if you start talking about personalities, there's some division there. But the music, man.
I don't really
music's
know
great.
that many songs by them, to be fair.
You should listen to
You
In the
should-
Garage. I think you
yeah.
would actually like that one quite a
The
bit.
whole album is great, man.
Well, do you know what I have listened to this week, though? I'm just going to have to bring up my playlist to make sure I don't get it completely wrong.
It's going to be like Captain Joe Hawk and the 412s or something. I've never heard of.
Brits
Close.
McKeegan and the Stratas.
I do have something else to say. No, I've been listening to Tyler Childers.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you're talking
And
Blake's.
I very much dug it.
I
I
thought you
was
would.
really into that.
Yeah, it's great.
Like it was one of those albums where you're like, is there even a bad track on this album? And there wasn't.
What was a standout for you?
Yeah, Tyler Childers.
I can't remember any. I listened to it twice all the way through, so I just like them all. But something else musical and weird happened this week. Basically, I went through my old Gmail account. Well, it's not my old. I still use it, but like every now and then, I'm like, I wonder what's in this folder. And I found my sent items folder, and it goes back to when my Gmail account started, which was 2004.
Oh, wow. Vintage.
5, I think. And I found a track I'd written in 2006. Now, we had a family tragedy in 2006, so I completely forgot about the track for 19 years. And, like, I had no recollection of it. The minute I played it, I knew exactly what I'd done and how I'd done it, etc. And it was actually really good. It used a load of Trailer Park Boys samples from one of my favorite episodes. And I was like, man, I was cooking something back then. But isn't that also one of the greatest gifts of music? Finding something you'd worked on like years and years ago, listening to it and going, maybe I'm not as crap as I thought I was.
But that was like electronic music back then for you, wasn't it?
It was. It's a little bit Lee Scratch Perry. It's a little bit dubby. It uses a bass line that I've entirely stolen from Parliament Funkadelic. And I was experimenting with the soft synth Reason. So it was all done in Reason at the time. I mean, it's on my Facebook. If anyone follows my Facebook, please don't. But also, I'll send you guys a link later. Check it out when you're just relaxed, let's say.
I see. Well, I'm excited to check it out. Weird that you mentioned this, because I had a similar thing happen very recently where...
You've been in my Gmail. What?
Yeah, I was going through this weird British guy's old Gmail account, and I found this electronic track with Trailer Park Boy. Trailer Park. My computer is slowing down. Anyway, I'm back. My friend gave me a CD that we recorded. It was probably the first recording I ever did that wasn't on like a cassette tape. And it is when my band and I huddled around my grandma's Windows 92 machine or whatever it was.
Ah, yes, Windows 92. I remember that version.
Using Microsoft Sound Recorder, which could only record in 1 minute increments.
That's right. I remember
unless you recorded 1 minute and then drug it back, and then you could record another minute and drag it back. And so what we had to do is we'd play the song, see exactly how long it was, record silence, and so we had enough room to record it, and then we would drag it back and record the full track. But we recorded it using the one free microphone that like came with her Gateway PC or whatever it was, and we adjusted the mix by moving people around the room. So we have an acoustic guitar, an acoustic bass, a snare and a hi-hat, and then vocals. And we're all
sheer luxury. Absolute luxury.
It was
the first
great.
Music I recorded.
Actually, no, I have to say, it was terrible. The mix actually sounds better than you would expect, but the musicians were, rough. Let's just put it that way.
They were all canines.
Yes, there was a bunch of dogs in the studio.
Yes.
Bunch of old dogs in the studio, you know what I mean, man? Yeah.
When I started making music properly on my Amiga, I had a 16-bit sound sampler, which had a single stereo input, like a headphone socket. And I used to plug a tape recorder into that, make samples, and then use a 4-track or 8-track program and program everything using the keys on the keyboard.
What are you talking about? I didn't even know what samples were. We just had an acoustic guitar. What are you talking about, samples? I didn't know what that wizardry was.
It wasn't wizardry.
Telling me about luxury.
Tomfoolery.
So GAC is closing, I see.
It is. Well, so
GAC is a popular.
yeah, let's
store.
dial this back. Guitar, amp, and keyboard center. It's been pointed out that it was the most hilariously named shop in the UK because GAC is slang for cocaine.
Oh.
Then someone pointed out PMT, which was also a chain that closed down. Here's my advice to anybody opening a music shop. Amusing names do not last. But so what happened with GAC? So GAC was like the reason to go to Brighton for me, which is a local city. It's a beautiful shop with like murals on the outside. Didn't have enough Wampler pedals. I wonder if that is in somehow anything to do with what's happened.
Also didn't carry string joy.
I see correlation here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm pretty sure our independent distributor dealt with them, so that they weren't. I think they're owned by a venture capital firm. I don't know. Anyhow, there was a newspaper article saying the shop had closed down. I went to the website. It was still there when that newspaper article came out. I went and looked for their range of Fender guitars. Not one. And it was at that moment I thought, yeah, something's afoot. And I'm not talking about my dog, my actual feet, or anything else you care to imagine that is 12 inches long. Sandwich.
Yeah, better be. Otherwise, it's false advertising. Anyway.
So yeah, looks like it's gone. Looks like it's bankrupt. And that's,
But isn't there didn't that article, and maybe this is all speculation, folks. We don't really know.
We really don't know.
But that article also said that on basically the British equivalent of business buy-sell, that there was a music retail operation for sale that matched a lot of the same descriptions, and it was up for quick sale. It was like looking to sell this right now, which is kind of
We've got 24 hours, folks. Let's sell this thing.
But it was weird because I said they were doing like 20 million pounds a year or something.
It's a good sized retailer. Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty decent. So it's like that's not gonna sell like overnight in any situation.
Right. I would look at your books. No. I mean, that's a tough sell.
You can't look at my books.
There's no time for that. You either want it or not.
That's right.
In the UK, I think the biggest music retailer is Gear for Music, which is an online only. Then it's Anderton's. Then I don't know the numbers, but I always had Guitar, GAC, and Peach as the three other big brands in the space. So
I thought Guitar was quite a bit bigger than Anderton's. Is that wrong?
I mean, Guitar is like nationwide, so it has shops all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Anderton's just has the world's largest warehouse. I mean, not literally, but it may as well be. Remember, this is a shop that had over 100 of those paranormal Telecasters in stock.
True.
So,
true.
So I think I'm pretty sure Anderton's is number 2. So losing what's the next tier down from that, it hurts everybody. Like, I'm sure all of the competition were initially like, good, less competition. And then they were like, oh no, less people buying guitars has led to less competition.
Is that what happened now?
That's the thing. Everybody always assumes that whenever a guitar operation of any sort closes, everyone's quick to be like, that's because nobody's playing guitar anymore. But the reality is there are always shops doing well and shops doing poorly. Like, it depends on a lot of factors, but it's not just that people aren't buying music gear, because that's not really true. That's kind of flat. It's not necessarily in a sharp decline the way a lot of people want to talk about it. So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are struggles in the industry right now, but I hazard a guess that there's something behind the scenes going on. That's just my assumption. If it is indeed even going out of business, we don't really know.
Yeah, and again, we should reiterate that it may well just be closed down for cleaning, and everyone's jumped to conclusions. But
usually,
not on the internet.
Usually, you don't take
conclusions.
Usually, you don't take all your Fender guitars though off your website if you're cleaning the store.
If they're real dirty, you do.
Yeah. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how dirty it gets here.
Yeah, these Telecasters are filthy.
Speaking of filthy, I'm gonna now just accuse Brian of being filthy because he has created a disgusting thing in my mind, which is now that the drum kit has left this room. I think we discussed this on the Patreon. I don't think it's ever coming back. I think I've now concluded that the railway is going into storage, the drum kit's going into that room, and then I'm going to sell it and buy an electronic drum kit.
What? No, you left that part out. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't go that far. Like, just
Why?
stop with the drums and stay with guitar.
See, here's the thing. Drums are loud.
Yeah.
Like, really loud. And if you play with ear defense on, which I do, it's not the same. Like, that's like playing guitars with gloves on.
It's almost
You're
like
not-
playing through a modeler.
It really
You know?
is. So at that point, you may as well get an electronic drum kit. And I have to face facts. I'm not getting younger, and I'm not getting faster, and I'm not getting better at the drums. If anything, I'm much worse at the drums than I was 5 years ago when I met Brian Wampler. Hold on.
Correlation? Maybe.
Hold on, Richard.
Or
I've made a
causation.
career out of not facing the facts, so I don't think you have to. Personally,
I agree.
By all my metrics, you really could just ignore it.
yeah. I've reviewed the studies. I went over the data. I've checked out the spreadsheets. You can ignore that. Just don't worry about it.
Okay. Oh, well, then that's right. But no, I do feel like change is in the air. Like, I think if someone offered me enough money for my drum kit right now, I'd probably just sell it. But that is on the basis that I'm buying an electronic kit that lets me use my hi-hat and bass drum pedal, because they're the only two really important parts of a drum kit.
But do you really play drums that much, though? Really?
No. But I know that what will happen is the minute I get rid of drums, I'll be sat there and go, I need to record a song. I've got this itch and I can't program the beat and I can play it. And oh, look, I've sold all my drums.
Huh?
I think in this scenario, an electronic kit is a worthwhile replacement, and they're a lot better feel wise than they used to be.
Right.
You
So
get
I've
some mesh
got
heads and stuff.
Yeah. I've
Mhm.
got a really old Yamaha DT Express, like it's 25 years old. It's one of the early kind of home prosumer drum kits, but it's rubbish. It's just like 2-state snare drum. Everything's hard. The cymbals are like just a quarter of a cymbal. Now I look at my drummer's drum kit and he brings in like full rubberized cymbals and mesh heads and flim flams and hujama flips, and I'm all over it. So I think this is the solution.
Flim
It's a
Flam
long-
and the Hujula Flips. That's a very popular British band from Wales. Yeah.
Probably is. Don't you knock the Welsh. They're a wonderful race.
I didn't say anything bad. I said it was a very popular band. I feel like you just
I realise
internally,
that
mentally
we're on-
knocked the
I
Welsh.
realise that we're on camera, so I'm about to commit suicide. But I picked up some pictures from my mum's house earlier because she was sorting out some pictures. Who the hell's that guy?
Oh man, Richard! Is that Richard in his emo phase?
That's Richard in proto emo phase.
I love that. That's a good look.
That wasn't a bad look actually. And here's the thing: I was so skinny, and I thought I was fat all along, but no, it's just I've got a hang up. Anyway, drum
You
kit.
do have a hang up. You're not. Everyone probably when they see you on camera, everyone's like, "I've thought this guy was 400 pounds for the last 5 years," and it's like, "Oh no, he's pretty normal looking actually."
For the patron, we must talk weights, but that's another story.
Okay, we will.
Anyhow, yeah, the drum kit. I blame Brian, but what I now praise Brian for is my next project, which was my nerdy storage project. I have taken all of my electronic components and put them in individually labeled drawers, and I've used a color coding system so I can find the perfect resistor, the perfect capacitator at any instant without like even struggling, Bri, and it's thanks to you.
This is
So,
actually a
we're
really
even.
good idea too. Like if you have part storage, I hadn't thought of this. This is a really good idea that you have going on. So basically, do you have it nearby? You can show.
Oh, I do. Well,
Well, yeah, because this
So-
is on camera these days.
Right.
Let's
So,
go.
and
Yeah.
for the audio listeners, I'll explain what he's got going on. So he's got this big parts bin, right? And there's little labels on each bin, and he has them color coded. So some of them are for resistors, some of them are for capacitors, some of
Just
them are
like
for
an old
diodes.
lady's medicine with a little tray thing.
Just like
Yeah.
an old medicine tray.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I
These,
can remember to take the nitroglycerin
these are
on
the
Tuesday.
ones that make me not pee the bed at night. These are the ones that, yeah.
Yeah. And these
Here's
are
a
the
question
ones
for you,
that
though,
do
Brian.
make me feel better.
These are the ones that make me go poo. These are the ones, yeah.
Dude, if your pill counter is this big, you ain't got long to live.
Or you're like a
or you've got a long time to live.
or you're an IFBB pro. You know, it's like I need the HGH and I need the Tren and I need the
Yeah.
Question for you though, Bri. Would you do what I've done here? So as you can see, this is my BC 550 transistors, and I've left them in the anti-static bag.
Ah, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I do that, but for a different reason. I do that not because of static. It's because when I need the part number, it's easy to find. You know, I can just pull out the label, like, there's the part number.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, but if you had my color-coded label system, that's redundant.
No, I mean like the actual part number. Like if I go on DigiKey and type in the actual part number.
Yeah, I did actually keep all the bags for everything in a separate place in case I do need. Well, I will need to reorder. What I've also done, which if you're watching and you're sharp-eyed, you would have seen, is because a number of those relate to components of this beautiful fuzz pedal on this Wampler branded board that I have. The Wampler branding is aftermarket. I was testing the stickers, all right?
Just say,
I had to stick them to
we don't
something.
sell those. Don't look for those.
No, but we do sell the blue breadboardy things.
And don't continue, but I want to hear about this fuzz circuit too, by the way.
But yes, so essentially what I've done on each of the drawers is like I've written R1, R2, R3, C1. So when I'm building circuits, it's much quicker to do it. It took me a couple of times before I realized putting them on a separate label meant once I'd finished the build, I could then remove them. But hey, no system's perfect.
Yeah, you're still working out the kinks. It's all right.
So what
they were a band from the 1960s.
Oh, you really got me now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So much I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, so tell me about this fuzz circuit you're doing.
Well, I think I've already.
I mean, like tell me, like, is it a fuzz face? Is it a big?
No, it's a big muff.
It is a big muff. Okay.
It's a transistor-based big muff. It will be the first pedal that I release. I'm getting closer and closer.
I thought there's only 3 transistors on it, though.
4.
There was 4? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the one you posted a picture of the other day on Instagram or something, right?
Yes. With my dog looking at it. Yes.
I think so. I forget.
Yes. No, it's got 4, but I've done it in a weird way. So I've laid out my board. Let me hold that up there for the camera in a very weird way, Bri. So essentially, transistor stage 1 is there, and then you've got 2 and 3, and then 4's over there.
Why'd you put them over on different continents like that?
Because I just felt it was the smart move.
Gotcha. Okay.
And also, I have no idea what I'm doing.
No, I mean, I didn't know if
literally.
I didn't know if you did that for a reason. Like, all right, I'm going to put this bunch here so I can substitute another group right there. You know what I mean?
No, apparently I did it to make wiring it up really hard, because by the time I'd got to the last one, I was like, oh, now I need a really long jumper wire to go back to the output.
Now I need a whole new breadboard. It's 4-foot jumper wire.
It's better than versions 1, 2, and 3 that I did. So we're getting there. But the gain stages are all a little bit more compact.
Are you still are you using the big muff tone tone control still?
Yes.
Oh.
I've made a little modification though.
Okay. And so I'll have to hook you up with a different tone control to try, see if you like it.
Oh, hello.
Whoa. Yeah.
There's a mod I like to do those just to change that tone control completely.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool.
Okay. All right.
Super
Can
easy
I write
to
modded by Brian Wampler on
no,
my pedal
no.
and
I
sell them for more.
I didn't
What?
invent this. It's just a different way to do a tone control. You know? Okay. But it sounds good in that circuit. It gives it more mids.
I'll send you my modification for it too.
Is it to simply plug a 12-string guitar into it?
I was thinking, let's put a piece of steak on it. Just lay the steak.
We call this the meat mod. Just grill it up for a while. Actually, don't do that. I found that's how you kill pedals.
It is. Oh, and did you know, Bri, that actually, this will segue very nicely onto my favorite April Fool's gag. Did you know that Adrian Thorpe of Thorpe Effects has blown pedals up with actual explosives
Oh yeah.
and shot them with actual bullets?
I think I think we did talk about that at some point, or I talked about that with somebody. Yeah.
Well, because you've obviously exploded pedals, but I'm just going to let you know you're now my second favorite pedal exploder in the world.
I don't recommend it. It's a good way to buy new lenses for cameras.
Yeah, he was using Chris Buck was there. He felt the shockwave. You could see him jump when the shockwave hit him. So it was a bit different. But look, this segues very nicely onto today as we record this.
Well, I think we need to pause for one brief second just to let the audience know. Adrian, as we've talked about this before, but just to be clear for any new listeners, Adrian was an explosives expert in the military. Don't try this at home.
Yeah,
folks.
this is not a
DIY
DIY
commercial explosives place. He didn't do it in his backyard. Like his friend runs a quarry where they explode stuff for film.
And he did it for a living for many years. So, yeah, be warned.
Not me. I did it in my front yard, and I do not do that for a living.
Do you know what I used to do as a kid, though?
2 brand new lenses had to be purchased.
Do you guys have Kinder eggs out there?
Mm-hmm.
Did they have the little yellow capsules inside that would break into 2 that drug dealers used to use to keep their drugs in?
I don't know. My children buy them because there are toys inside.
Right. So in the 80s, we would get them and we would fill one half with baking powder and one half with vinegar. You put the 2 halves together, shake it up and throw it, and you've got a sludge grenade. That's a free tip to all our listeners. It's not explosive, but it does explode, but it's not explosive. Segueing on, today is April Fool's Day. We didn't do an April Fool's gag this year. Well, no, we reflected on one of our own ones. It's kind of so expected that, like, I don't want to take any of the attention away from what Adrian and Co did.
There's a lot of people doing cool stuff, and we've done it so many years now that it's kind of like, we thought we'd give it a bit of a break. We had our fun. You know?
Yeah.
We have never done it. Well, I shouldn't say never. I can't remember, but we did our first one in many years. So, yeah. The Marquardt Lab relic strings.
Okay. I didn't see those.
I just posted it right before we hopped on here, so I'm sure that
is that after 12 o'clock? Doesn't that make you the fool, sir?
I just do it when I wake up. Leave me alone.
Okay.
12 o'clock
you're still a fool.
Yeah, that's still morning if you're over in somewhere.
Origin and Thorpe teamed up to make the greatest gag this year, which was his. Now you got to be careful how you say the name of this pedal, all right? The folked up pedal, which emulates different tone woods when you put this specially designed fuzz on your acoustic guitar. Like, they've hit everything here. I think it's even got a special jazz capo with it as well.
Jazz capo. I like that. Is it squiggly?
But they've gone to town, and now they've also actually made the pedal, and it's available. In fact, our friend Ricky is part of the raffling, I think, like Guitar Draw of the Day, Daily Guitar Draw. I've probably just advertised 2 companies there, sorry. They are giving it away as a prize. Proceeds going to a cancer charity, so it's all being done for the right sort of thing. I love it.
Cool. Love it.
Brian,
of course, people are going to hear this tomorrow after April Fool's.
Right.
Which is...
Well, we're the fools.
And they'll be like, why didn't they talk about company A, B, or C?
Because we didn't see it all yet.
We didn't see it
Sorry.
all yet. Yeah.
Did you guys see any other April Fool's gags that you like? String joy notwithstanding.
My wife tricked me this morning, but that we're not going to talk about that. I'm embarrassed.
I thought we bought a camper. My wife had told me that we were going to go pick up a new camper on Monday, and I was like, wait, what?
Sorry, wait a minute, Brian. A new Kemper, a modeler?
No. For what do you call them? I don't know what you guys call
Caravans.
them. Caravans. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an RV camper. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was. So
that
was me going. Wait, how much we're doing?
What did she tell you you'd spent?
Well, she had this entire story made up because we have been looking for a new one, and so she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, and I've already got the appointment set up and like all this stuff. I'm like, wait, we should probably talk about this rather than just go in and say, hi, I want to buy this. How much and where do I sign?
Give me the Winnebago.
And come to find
man.
out, she was just messing with me.
My friend Doug from, I want to say Atlanta, but I think it's Florida he's from. And he's lived over in the UK for a long time, but he bought his Winnebago, but it is a 1980s Winnebago. So it has all of the flowery curtains, all of the fake wood inside. It's the greatest vehicle known to man. It has like a cupboard full of American snacks and a cupboard full of American weed. I mean, what's not to love about that?
Hey, I feel like you just ratted your boy out on a
Exactly.
nationally
He's old
international
enough
TV
to not
program.
care.
And his license
fine.
plate number is
Yeah,
No, he's
because
old
I'm
enough
sure
not
there's
to.
only like 3 Winnebagos that have been imported to the UK. So
Well, you
there's-
can actually, it's funny you say that, you can actually only fit 3 Winnebagos in the entirety of
that's
the
what I was
UK.
thinking. Yeah,
Like, that is literally England, Scotland, Wales, done. That's it.
yeah.
Northern
And
Ireland
this
doesn't
one
count.
has the weed in it. It's the brown one.
with the flowery curtains.
Yeah. Flowery because,
Right. Yeah,
I love a Winnebago.
You know, the strange thing is there are a lot of campgrounds that you have to have your camper can only be so old. I don't know what it is, 10 years or so, 8 years or something, or else you're not allowed to stay there. They won't let
What?
you. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this
Yeah.
before.
Maybe,
Where's this
Maybe it's
at?
a Midwest thing. It's all over Indiana, for example.
So hold on,
I-
wait a minute.
Ooh.
Which way does it go, Bri? It has to be at least this old or at least this new. Are they only letting the hippies
Well-
in or only the trendies with their air
Yeah,
screaming?
so it has to be. I don't know the exact date. I think it has to be like 10 years or newer.
Wow.
See, that's funny because there is
That's
literally
American snobbery right there.
there is a campground near here. It's like a privately owned thing that is nothing but vintage campers.
Well, yeah, and there's the opposite too. There's other
Yeah.
campgrounds where like we only do Airstreams or something like that,
Mhm.
or we only do older type of campers. And there's some that are just like these are long term only. These are not stay for the weekend. You have to rent the whole year.
Rent the whole year.
Yeah, there's some campgrounds that are just it's kind of like a what we'd call a trailer park, but it's more mobile. So you can
Doesn't that defeat the purpose?
some people live in them
of-
all year. Some people live in
Doesn't
all
that
year
defeat the purpose of it being mobile? The fact that you got to stay there all year.
Get this. There are some campers that are made not to move. Well, they're made to move once, but not many times. So you
What?
you just
The
move
static-
them.
What?
caravan. My grandparents retired to a static
It's-
caravan.
The non-mobile mobile,
Are you aware of the company Snap-on Tools?
Yeah.
What-
So-
don't insult me like that. What do you think I used to do for a living? Of course, I'm aware of Snap-on tools.
So my granddad was a Snap-on Tools representative in the late 60s, early 70s, and those, insert expletive, bankrupted him because some deal went wrong and blah, 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 blah. And he ended up having to sell all his house and eventually retiring to a static caravan.
That's funny because Snap-on's actually directly responsible for bankrupting most mechanics that buy from them.
Interesting. Is that their business model?
Yeah. Here, you want this? There's a real nice ratchet. It's $400 though. So, we want this
But anyway,
toolbox. It's a real nice toolbox. It'll be 30 grand. I
am
know
ex-
that's all more than you make in a year, but go ahead.
What do they like finance you for like 45 years or something?
They do.
Is that how
You
it
pay the
works?
truck. You pay the truck.
Wow.
And it's just every week the truck shows up and people who can't control themselves owe the truck, $100 a week, $50 a week or whatever
really?
it is.
So they repo your tools.
I don't know of anybody
Or not.
that actually happened to, but when you have a
Oh,
guy
my
like
granddad?
Like,
Well,
John Oliver?
we're gonna have to tow.
wait, John Oliver. I think he's very successful now.
I watched him on TV the other night. He's quite funny, actually. For a Brit in America, he is quite funny. You know who I am getting into? Norm Macdonald.
Oh, that's for Patreon. We'll get into that. On Patreon.
Thanks to you.
Mhm.
It was Eric Clapton's 80th birthday recently, so they ran a load of stuff on British TV about Eric Clapton, including a full
restraining
concert.
myself from making horribly
Well,
distasteful jokes right now.
No, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I've just unplugged my headphones as I did that. People do say horrible things about him, but forget about the person, because he's done some terrible things and he's also had some terrible tragedies.
Yes.
But as a player, can we all at least agree that the electric guitar owes a lot to Eric Clapton?
100%, of course. Yeah.
Brian
legend for a reason.
stroking his chin.
No, I'm sorry, I was thinking about something else.
No.
Something on.
He's thinking Winnebagos again.
No. Something a Premier Guitar just did. I guess I'm not like a massive Eric Clapton fan. Good for him for making it to 80 and being healthy. I
think being healthy is a bit of a long shot.
I don't know that much about it. I've never really been that big of a fan, honestly. He's kind of like the David Gilmour of bad blues to me. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's wait, that was like a compliment
So
and
much
an
to
insult.
unpack.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was exactly.
I'm not a fan of, I like maybe earlier Clapton stuff, but anything where it was like poppy in the 80s or, it's okay.
So look,
It's okay.
everything he did in Cream was genius.
Yeah,
Everything
Cream
he
was
did
good.
before Cream was genius.
Yeah.
So Yardbirds, John Mayall's Blues Break.
Yeah, that stuff's good. Yeah, it's once you start getting the poppy 80s stuff. I'm like,
Blind Faith was amazing. But then, yeah, it's hit and miss. But you've got to love Derek and the Dominoes, surely.
yeah, okay.
Surely.
Okay.
What?
They're,
Even I
Layla
like
was
Derek
the
and the
riff
Dominoes.
that I grew up like thinking
It's-
was the defining sound of the guitar.
I mean, I respect it, but I don't want to wake up in the morning next to it. That's what I'm saying. You know.
I think it's fair that you don't want to wake up next to an 80-year-old man. I think
I
that's
mean,
okay.
Like the
Yeah.
song is great, but I'm not in love with it. It's just okay.
Brian, you are my love of my life.
This is a film I don't want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my thing, man. I mean, if we're talking, that era of music, then I like other things besides that.
I'm glad you came to rescue me from my big city lifestyle and take me back to small town America where I could truly be happy and quit this high-powered lawyer job to be your boyfriend.
This is terrible. This is the script for the world's worst film.
I don't know where
Brian and
my
Eric
brain is
coming
not
to cinemas
well
soon.
today. This is bad.
He is a pedal manufacturer who likes to teach online. He is an 80-year-old guitar hero. Together, they are Clapton and Wampler, P.I. No, wait. Where's that come from?
Wait, hold on. Actually, I like the sound of that. That's a show I would watch.
Investigating terrible guitar tones. Look, he's done so much for our instrument.
No, again, respect. Total respect for him. Just not a fan. I mean, not a. When I say not a fan, it's not on any of my Spotify playlists. Put it that way.
No Clapton at all.
Nah.
Wow.
I respect it, but if it comes
Wow.
on, like if someone plays it, I'm like, that's cool. But it just doesn't hit the same as like George Lynch or Joe Perry from
again with
Aerosmith,
the
old
Lynch.
Aerosmith stuff, Scorpions, let's say, old AC/DC, first Van
See,
Halen,
for me-
first album Van Halen.
Wheels of Fire was one of the first albums I ever got.
That was
Because
a
I've
skate video, I think.
also that. But it's a Cream album. I think it was a compilation act. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. But I stole it from my mum's boyfriend and just played it over and over. And I was like, wow. For me, like, basically, it went Hendrix, Doors, Cream, Zeppelin, Sabbath. That was my guitar kind of journey as a young man.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I obviously some of this has to do with my age, but I didn't really get super into Clapton, but Layla was one of the first like leads that I think anybody tries to learn to play, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's just fantastic. You can't argue with that. So it's so beautiful.
Oh, I'm not arguing with
man.
it. I mean, it's just like, some people are vegetarians, some aren't. I'm not a Clapton connoisseur, I suppose.
Would you give him a go?
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against it. Just everything I've ever heard, I've always walked away thinking, yeah, it's all right. There's never been anything that's been like, this just changed my world. There's never been anything like that.
Oh, wow. I mean, for me...
Even like Sunshine
there
of Your Love or
literally have
something,
been.
I'm like, that's a cool fuzz tone. A fuzzy-ish tone.
I actually use a Plexi Drive Mini to get that tone. Just gonna let you know.
Because I think he used a bass bend, didn't he? On that, or was it a JTM-45? I forget.
I forget. I'm not a gear nerd.
Similar-
I know,
similar
obviously,
circuitry,
I know he
different-
used a Soldano in the 90s because I've sought out that video. But I've seen him do some amazing stuff live.
Yeah, he's a good player. There's no doubt about that. It just doesn't speak to me, you know?
Wow.
I mean, I'll take Skid Row over that any day. Any day.
I think your brain might actually be broken.
No, I just, I know what the stuff I like. It's pretty narrow, and I stick to it.
Yogurt and peanut butter.
That's right.
And
It's
freeze
all
dry.
right,
How is
it's
the
all
freeze
right.
drying, Brian?
I have eaten more freeze-dried fruit in the past month than more fruit
That's
than I
good for
eat
you.
last 5 years, probably.
Wow.
I-
What's
I
your
eat-
favorite?
By the way, did you know? Probably strawberries. By the way, did
Okay.
you know that if you eat too much fruit, freeze-dried, that it'll actually put little sores in your mouth? Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yes.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That'll
if you
happen.
eat too many pineapples, you'll get those sores.
That'll happen. Yeah.
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 And also, you will
Vile
have
fruit. Ugh. Pineapple.
you will
I
have
knew it wasn't
interesting
fit for human
times in the
consumption.
toilet.
Yeah, I knew it.
But I like it better than the candy. So, we make a lot of candy as well. And I just,
You make your own candy.
well, I mean, you freeze dry it. So, like,
Ah, okay.
take like Skittles or something like that, and it turns into something different.
Well, freeze-dried Skittles.
Yeah, it's just a different texture. I mean, you could take it that
It's
with
frozen.
taffy's
and
really
dry.
good. Free dried taffy that's really good.
We don't have taffy over here. We have toffee, but we don't have taffy. Taffy over here is a Welshman down the pub.
Oh, Taffy, how you doing, mate?
Literally. Right?
No, it's I don't know. It's kind of like a bit of honey sort of thing. You have those.
Yeah,
right?
I've had it at where's the place? Asbury Park. I bought some taffy from the boardwalk there, but it was
What is
disgusting.
with taffy? What? It's always in beach towns. What is with that?
The salt water.
Yeah, they call it saltwater taffy, but what does saltwater have to do with it?
I don't
Do
know.
they use-
I don't make it. I don't know.
Tell me more
mean,
about the taffy.
I have a theory that it was created so people who have crowns have to go get them replaced often.
I think you're right.
That's my theory.
Mm-hmm. It's a good theory. Yeah. Right.
Couple of other subjects because I know we're running out of time here. Rock and Roll Relics debuts the Stinger Boost and Stinger Drive. Now, what's interesting about this, Bryce, they've taken one of our ideas and actually delivered it.
An overdrive.
These are pedals. No, not an overdrive and a boost.
Oh.
They were not our ideas, but
Oh.
nice one for trying. No, they've put like relic finishes on these pedals.
I like that. Very cool. Now that's a
Do
really,
you?
I really do like that. The problem is that whenever you do 3,000 of them, it's kind of hard. Not hard, it's expensive. Especially in a market like I noticed the other day, like MXR pedals are now $200 pedals, right?
Mhm.
Some of them,
Yes.
and we're still at like $200. So even though our manufacturing processes are different and our costs are completely different than MXRs, we can't raise our price up, but they can go up. We can't go down. So we can't, basically what that means is we couldn't do anything fancy like that without raising the price.
What Brian's asking you, listeners, is will you pay him more money?
Oh, no. What I'm saying is that the world is broken.
We agreed
I
not
bet you
to
can
talk
get
about the
Coyote
state
to
of the
do it
world.
for not that much.
I mean, that is true. You
yeah.
probably in Martinsville, there are people you could find that would totally relic those pedals. for-
Brian, I'll relic your pedals for you.
I was about to say, Brian, I
Hold
don't
behind
think
my
you've employed
lawnmower.
all of your children yet. I think you've got at least a spare 7 or 8 children with hammers that could do this.
You know, that is a good point. Let's see.
Mhm.
I do have 2 grandkids, so probably
And they love hitting stuff.
You have 2,000 children. Wow.
it is just
TC Electronics Denmark closed down. Speak to me, Bryce. Speak to me.
well, from what I
please.
could tell. So TC
the run.
Electronics had like different subdivisions, right?
TC was
Um,
always based, quote unquote, in Denmark until Music Tribe bought them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I think it's just purely Music Tribe. So I don't know how it affects the rest of the world. To me, it doesn't affect me at all. But apparently, on the gear page, people were going nuts over it.
It's one of those
well, I
things
can
where
explain that. It's
Oh,
the
go
gear
ahead.
page. No, that's my explanation. It's the gear page.
the thing is, I mean, I feel bad for everybody that like lost their jobs. I'm not sure how many people were actually there, but the thing is, those products haven't been made in Denmark in a long time. Like, I don't even know. when they started making them in other factories, but they haven't been manufactured there in forever. So for people on TGP to think that it's somehow going to affect them product-wise, I'm like, it's probably not. It's hard for me to imagine how it would.
I mean, there were a few comments of like, great, more Chinese cheap junk pedals. I think I'll stick with my Boss. And I'm like,
I think I'll stick with my Amazon pedals.
like,
hold on.
yeah, I mean, like, I don't think that meant what you think it did, you know? So, but whatever, I don't care. The thing I guess I do care more about is the music world is changing. There's a lot more companies that are going out of business, and of course, with GAC going out of business, that's concerning a bit.
Retailer, yeah.
You know what? I think the thing to do is I think we need to start a mandate where when a child is old enough to have a guitar put in their hand, we do that. I think we have to make that a law.
Right. Is Mandate the name of the film with you and Eric Clapton? I'd watch it.
Sometimes I think this podcast it's Blake and Brian, and Richard just tries to get Brian mad the whole time.
Oh, no. I don't have to try. It's really easy to get.
I mean,
Brian
if that's
mad.
what it was, I could say a lot of different things.
I just open my mouth and he's already considering firing me. It's very simple.
Oh, jeez.
I'm considering firing you as well. So.
Well, so am I.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think it might be time for us to end this soiree, this little party of ours. I've got a date with an octogenarian
Who's
guitar legend.
Who wants to give a shout out to the executive producers? What you thinking? What you got for me today?
Has the list changed?
Nope, we're still good.
I don't know, but see, whenever I use pre-recorded executive producers, one, it doesn't hit the same. Two, there's the same jokes between each one.
Well, I'll go ahead and handle it. What do you think?
Well, you're on camera. Just remember that.
Oh, I'm going to make all kinds of bad faces. That's just what I do.
Whoa,
all right, here we go.
Stop making that bad face.
Yeah, I can't. It's stuck this way. All right, here we go. Big shout out to Bill Bays, David Tyndall, Dave Trombetti, Shannon Weaver, Eric Wilson, Vidar Frostad, Michael Freer, Sean Arbo of Gun Street Wiring, Rick Calhoun of Honey Picks, Patrice Fournays, Dylan Talks Tone, Missouri Electrical Box Company, Kevin Harrington, Barry from Grez Guitars, Tom Kelly, Jake Young of Man the Helm Podcast, Pigsy, John O'Neill, Robert Carr, Hunter Hudson, Rob Stokes, Nick Spano, Sasha Sir, Jay Stratton, Harry Post, Grumpy Mike, Harvey Pedals, Allison Carroll, Bum Laser, Anthony Stevens, Chris Brown, not that one, Philip Carter of the 40 Watt Podcast, Christopher Logan, Jason Englehart, The Crowhawk, Dylan Lewis, Josh, probably not that one, James Thompson, Colin Littlejohn, Machete of Odin, Derek Lyons, Darth Bagel, Wizard of Woz, Crappy Tom, and Blake is a secret vegan.
It's not
this
a
is
secret
ridiculous.
anymore.
This is scurrilous rumors.
Right,
DJ Farns, Kyle Viana, Dan Ridgway, Robert Hahn, John Hill, Nick Call, Kyle Ray, and Your Face.
Awesome.
Your Face.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
And we'll see everybody next week.
Love you all.
Bye.
Especially Brian.